Well, hello there, folks. How are you? It's Kenneth James Kerr once again, and thank you for joining me today in this video. I do appreciate you being here today. Today we're going to take a look at the vignette on page 19 of the paperback, and of course it's also found on page 25 of the hardback edition. This is what the quotation says. "Inner peace cannot exist when you make perfection your major goal." Let me say it again. Inner peace cannot exist when you make perfection your major goal. Within that very, very simple phrase, there are, of course, several very, very important subjects. Now, I'm not going to try to pretend that we're going to be able to cover everything in this video. In fact, I'm not even going to say that we've covered it all in the vignette, in the book itself. For that reason, the themes that are covered here will be touched upon many times, both in the book itself and in the video library. All we can do is touch upon it sometimes from a different angle, a different slant, a different perspective. But just like looking at a diamond where there are multiple facets, multiple ways of seeing it, multiple reflections of light and nuance and reality, it's exactly the same when it comes to dealing with the themes in this particular vignette. So let's just say the quotation again. Inner peace cannot exist when you make perfection your major goal. Let's talk about inner peace. Inner peace. What do you think of when I say inner peace? Well, of course, you might say, well, I know what peace is. I mean, I look around the world and I can see where there's conflict and I can see where there's harmony. I can see where there are big problems in the world. I can see where things are more at ease in the world. Yes, that's outer peace. We see that. We just need to open up our eyes and understand there's a difference between conflict and peace in the world today. We know that, we get it. But what about inner peace? What is inner peace? How often do you think about inner peace? How often do you reflect on your own life to ask yourself the question, do I know what it is? Do I know what it feels like? Am I doing whatever I can to foster it in my own life? I don't think people really think about that enough. I think so often people look at their life and think they're just at the effect of everything all the time, instead of looking at their life and saying, you know what, inner peace is something that I value, it's something that I want, it's something that I intend to have within my life, and I'm going to do the best that I can to get it. So what is inner peace? Well, obviously it's a sense of calm. There are many different words we can use, many different descriptions, many different concepts, and not any one of them kind of touches it, but they're all part of it. It's an inner calmness, isn't it? It's that feeling inside that says, all is well, and so am I. It's a sense of rightness. It's a sense of wellness. It's a sense of well-being. It's a sense of emotional ease. That's what inner peace feels like. It's true, isn't it? It's an acceptance of the conditions of the now moment. It's being able to be in the now moment, even alone with yourself, and say, yes, indeed, all is well, and so am I. That is one way of looking at inner peace. Well, perhaps another way of looking at inner peace is to say, do we know what it is when we don't have it? Oh yeah, we do, don't we? You think about what's the opposite of inner peace. It's a sense of stress, isn't it? It's a sense of, oh, there's something just not right. It's stress, it's anxiety, it's fear, it's doubt, it's worry. It's a terrible sense of ill at ease. It's a terrible sense within of pressure that things just aren't right. And you're just not right. So it's very, very easy to, when you really think about it, understand and see what is meant by inner peace. We can see it if we focus on what it is when we've got it. And we can certainly see it and get a sense of it if we try to see it in terms of what it feels like when it is not there and when the opposite conditions are prevalent within our inner being. And you know, folks, when I take a look around the world today, I got to tell you, and you may agree with this, that there has been a terrible erosion of inner peace in the last 3 years. Through all the events that have taken place in the world and the way that the world's governments reacted to that scenario, we have seen a terrible erosion of inner peace, where fear, doubt, worry, concern, anxiety and all these things have rushed in like waves to the shore and have dominated the lives and the minds and the souls and the hearts and the feelings of so many, many people in the world today. Now, you might have been impacted by that too. The time has come to do everything we can to restore inner peace for ourselves, and to reach out to other people and do what we can to encourage the development of inner peace once again for those whom we care about. And that's what this work is all about, by the way. That's really what this book is doing. It's helping people to see life in a different way. It's helping people to look at life in a different way, look at themselves in a different way, be exposed to encouraging ideas and concepts that can help develop, once again, a different focus, a different way of being, a greater acceptance of inner peace. But there are those things that erode inner peace, aren't there? Inner peace cannot exist when you make perfection your major goal. Let's talk about perfection. It's another big part of what this vignette is all about. And again, it's something that we're going to talk about many times over the course of all these videos. Perfection. Perfectionism is something that sometimes it feels like it's almost a disease in the world. Where does it come from? Well, there's numerous places that it comes from. The one that I suggest in this particular vignette has to do with ambition. What's ambition? Well, I think ambition's a good thing. Ambition is that feeling, that sense, that drive within the human psyche that says we want to grow, we want to develop, we want to get better, we want to advance, we want to move ahead. We don't want to sit back and stagnate. And we sure don't want to go down the other way into deterioration. No. So this sense of ambition, this sense of growing, of moving forward, of developing, it is part and parcel of what you and I are as human beings. And I think that's a good thing. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with ambition. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a person who says, I have some goals in mind, I have some dreams, I have some aspirations of what I intend to continue to evolve to becoming in my life. I want to grow. And that can be in terms of their personal life, it can be in terms of their spiritual growth, it can be in terms of their financial growth, it can be in terms of their career, in terms of their business, in terms of their relationships. Yes, all of this is good, all of this is great, all of this is fine. And I think our overall society has really tried to advance that concept as being, this is what it's all about. And yes, it truly is a big part of what life is about, isn't it? You've got to improve, you've got to improve, you've got to develop. Even the genre, self-development, personal development, kind of buys into that. So there's nothing wrong with that, except this. somewhere along the way, we seem to have brought along with ambition this concept of perfectionism. That is to say, we say, I've got these dreams, I've got these goals, I've got these intentions, I've got these aspirations, I've got all these things that I really do intend to attain, and I've made these things the concept of perfection for me. And oh my goodness me, if I'm not there yet, then I'm not perfect. If I've not attained these things yet, then life isn't perfect. If I've not grown to that point yet, then I am not perfect. And the things that I'm doing are not good enough. They're not perfect. And perfectionism is an absolute disease in our society. Why? Because perfectionism casts judgment upon anything that is seen as being imperfect, and that casts a judgment on the individual who starts to say, well, not only are my conditions right now imperfect by my own judgment call, and sometimes by the judgment call of others, but I'm not perfect either. Now, as soon as you start to think of life as being imperfect, as judged by an arbitrary standard that might even be of your own creation, as soon as you start to do that and start to judge yourself and your own conditions of life based upon that, then that erodes inner peace. Because all of a sudden you're seeing life based upon not the beauty of what is and the beauty of what can be, but the lack of beauty of where you're at now and who you are now and what you're doing now. And that can bring such a terrible pressure. It certainly is a major, major eraser of inner peace. You cannot have inner peace. It cannot exist when you feel that perfectionism is your major goal, that you've got to be perfect, that you've got to attain this thing up here. You've got to be that standard up there. And if you're not, then you've screwed up, and you're just not worth it, and you're just not perfect, and you're just not right, and you're imperfect, and you're this, and you're that, and inner peace goes down the toilet. As I say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having this intention within to grow, this desire within to develop and build and advance. Of course, that's part and parcel of the human psyche. But along with that journey, we've got to say that that standard up there cannot become the major goal of every part of your life, because you will not attain it. Folks, I got to tell you something right now. Perfectionism is a lie. The thought of you being perfect in every way is an illusion. It's a delusion. Do you know why? Because when you attain that next level, you might realize there's still another level to go. And when you get to that one, there's another level to go. And when you get there, there's another level to go. You see, if life is about growth and ongoing growth, each time you grow, you set your horizons further. It's like saying, I'm going to walk across the prairie where I live and get to the horizon. Well, guess what? The more you walk forward, the further away the horizon gets. And if you say, I'm not going to be happy until I get to that horizon, you're never going to be happy. And if you've set a standard of perfectionism and you say, I have got to be perfect, whether I look at that as the attainment of my goals and dreams in business, in career, or in relationship, or in personal, or feelings, or whatever, if you say, I'm not going to be perfect till I reach that horizon, folks, you're never going to be perfect on that basis of understanding. And as a result of that, you're always going to be striving. You're always going to be moving. You're always going to be working. You're always going to be trying to wrestle with life, to reach that standard, because that's where you think perfection is. Wrong way of looking at life. Nothing wrong with the journey. But we have to realize that perfection is not going to happen. Here's the key. Here's the point where the rubber hits the road. Folks, we've got to learn to accept that our imperfections are part of the perfect journey. We've got to look at life and say, in business, am I going to make mistakes in business? Yes. Am I going to sometimes take the wrong actions? Yes. Are some marketing campaigns or ideas or products going to fail? Yes. In your relationship, are there times when your relationship is going to be strained? Yes. Are there going to be times when you say the wrong thing? Yes. Are there going to be times when relationships fail and die? Yes. That's part of the process. And in your own life, are there times when you are going to fail? Are there times when you're going to screw up? Are there going to be times when you mess up? Get a word wrong like I did just there? Yes! And where is inner peace in all this? It's in acceptance. It's in that point where you say, I accept the imperfections along the way as part of my perfect expression of who I am. Because each moment has within itself its own level of perfection, even within the imperfect. That I'm good enough as I am today, but I know I can even grow from here. That I am a perfect expression of the divine even today, although I know I can continue to express that more. That my business is okay today, because it's where it's at on a journey towards what I'd like it to be, but if I don't get there, I'm going to enjoy the journey. Do you see how it's such a different way of looking at life? Instead of making perfection the goal and eroding inner peace, you say, yes, I have some things I yet wish to attain, but it's perfect as it is right now, because if I don't accept the perfection right now, in the current now moment, I sure as heck will never attain that thing that I say I'm going to intend to attain, because I'll be so wrapped up in being stressful, anxious over my self-perceived imperfections. Folks, give yourself a break today. Perfection is not the major goal. Growth can be a goal. Advancement can be a goal. Ambition can be part of it. Intention to move ahead can be all part of it. But do not expect perfection of yourself, because as long as you say that perfection is something that you've got to attain, you'll never attain it. Acceptance is the key. Inner peace cannot exist when you make perfection your major goal. Now let's give it the reverse. Inner peace can be restored. In fact, let's just read the last paragraph of the vignette. Inner peace is eroded when you try to be perfect. Inner peace is restored when you allow your imperfections to propel you towards further growth. So go easy on yourself when you notice your own imperfections. As I said at the beginning of this vignette, there's an awful lot to try and unpack here. And we've only just scratched the surface. We'll say a lot more in future vignettes. But I hope that this one today has perhaps helped you to realize that you've got to go easy on yourself. Stop trying to make perfection the absolute goal of your life, and just chill back. Go easy on yourself. Accept where you're at now. Accept who you're at now, with the intention to grow, yes. And in that acceptance of the imperfection, you will express your perfection and restore your inner peace. This is Kenneth James Kerr. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.